for damage, right? For loss or damage. So I was talking about ordinary damages, which are usual damages that are paid according to the stipulations in a particular contract. Special damages are wherein you take in account the contingency measures also. If there are irrecoverable or there are special situations, then these come into effect. Right. Next is the exemplary, punitive, or vindictive damages. Now, these vindictive damages are literally translate to punishments. All right. If you're going to cause physical harm to someone, or someone is gravely injured by your breach of contract, then you might even be imprisoned. Okay. I was giving you the example of domestic violence yesterday. So someone is married and there's been a domestic violence. Not only the contract is breached, the marriage contract is breached. See, marriage law stipulates that in Indian marriage law stipulates that you should not involve in violence, domestic violence, while you're married together. That applies for both men and women. These days, that applies for both men and women. I'm not going to be a sexist here at all, because the rule applies for both men and women, and women are becoming equally bad. So whoever does that, whoever involves in this domestic violence, they will be punished accordingly. They will be put in jail. Okay. So this is common for business scenarios as well. All right. Fine. Next is nominal damages. Again, these are special circumstances, but you cannot really consider those as special damages. But these damages cannot be avoided. Okay, these type of damages cannot be avoided, and hence a token amount of 1 rupee or a minimal, very minimal damage is paid to the parties just to close the contract. Right. Nothing else is expected in case of nominal damages. Now, damages for inconvenience and discomfort. Now, inconvenience and discomfort, there is a fine line between physically harming someone or traumatizing someone psychologically to causing them inconvenience. So, let's say that you have your business going on somewhere, and let's say that you have a meditation center. All right, you have a meditation center, you're a registered meditation center, and let's say that someone is going to start a company in the compound next to you. Okay. And see, there are rules stating that there are now today there are a lot of chemical factories in Chromeped, and we're not really sure how many of those companies are really approved and licensed properly. Okay, they might have bribed, and all those things are going on in the background, but properly checked and licensed எத்தனைன்றது we are not aware of that at all, because taking into environmental damages also into concern, some factories and some industries are not supposed to be located in some places. Now, it is a rule of law that if there is a concentration, if there is a certain density of people populated in a particular area, then there should not be any chemical factories in that particular areas, because the waste from that factory might be harmful to the people. Right. So that's a general rule, that's a very general rule, and that's a very basic rule. Now, these rules are often breached by bribing and backhanding and politics, and all those stuffs are going on. But then let's say that you are having a meditation center, and there is this industry next to you, and the rule of law states that the any concern that is situated there should not be noisy, or should not cause discomfort to the people. That, see, noise pollution is also very, very relevant in today's scenario. இந்த தீபாவளி டைம்ல வந்து கிராக்கர்ஸ் வெடிக்க கூடாதுன்னு சொல்றதுக்கு there is one cause is the smoke and the pollution that it causes, but that another reason is also noise pollution, because as we have developed, as science has developed, so has the crackers. And today crackers are quite nasty. I hate crackers from the bottom of my heart. I'm frightened of crackers as well as I hate crackers. Okay, I hate crackers because I'm frightened of them. I mean, the bursting variety, I'm very, very frightened, so I hate them. So I pretend to be allergic to the noise and all that, but I'm not really allergic, but it really, really irritates me, and it causes mental strain as well, psychological strain as well. Now, this psychological strain is not trauma, that cannot be equated to trauma. There are people who are specifically unsound of mind who cannot see. Let's say that someone has gone through a traumatizing experience. Let's say that a soldier returning from war, and he's already heard all these sounds, and he's quite traumatized by that. And when he comes here and there's Diwali celebrations going on, it might adversely affect him. That's trauma. But myself, when you take me into consideration, I just have strain. It's just discomfort, right? Now, this discomfort can I mean, taking this discomfort into consideration, I can lodge a case at court. Okay, the damages might not be the punitive, the compensation that might be awarded might not be that big, but these discomfort, usually the ruling in case of these discomfort and inconvenience is usually by shutting down the industry or asking them to reduce the noise level, or I'm sure you get the point, right? So inconvenience and discomfort is not really traumatizing someone, but then just cause strain to them, right? Fine. And finally, liquidated damages and penalty. Liquidated damages means that you have pre-specified a certain amount of money that is to be discharged in case of contract. Okay, and this money will be liquidated. This funds will be liquidated by by actually liquidating your business or your products or whatever is going on, the business that is going on, you'll liquidate that and you'll pay them back. Okay, so these are liquidated damages and penalty. Fine. So let me continue. Yesterday I was talking about rescission of contract. Next one is suit of damages. And in suit for damages, what are the compensation in case of those damages, right? Next is suit for specific performance. Now, what is this specific performance? Excuse me, 1 minute. Okay, so suit for என்ன கண்ணா யாரோ மைக் ஆன் பண்ணீங்க. Right. So suit for specific performance means that demanding court's direction to the defaulting party, to the party who is who are at fault, to carry out the promise according to the terms of contract. Okay, so if someone is not willing to other according to the contract, someone is not willing to satisfy the contract, the deeds specified in the contract, you can always go to the court and ask the court to direct these people to satisfy those needs. Okay, to carry out the work that is stipulated in the contract. Okay, so let's say that a person has agreed to sell a product to another person. Let's say that X has agreed to sell something to Y for 5,000 rupees. Okay, but this X, they've already signed the contract and everything, and the X is supposed to deliver the product to Y. Okay, but this X is refusing to deliver. See, money has not been, there's not been any exchange of products at all. X has not delivered the product to Y, and Y has not delivered the money to X. All right, so there has been no exchange at all. But after signing the contract, X refuses to deliver the product. Okay, so Y now can file a suit asking the court to direct X to deliver the product. And according to the court's ruling, Y may either ask to pay the amount, or he might even be released of his obligation. He or she may be released of his obligation. Okay, point enna, you go to court to make someone do their duties according to the contract. Okay, so this is called as suit for specific performance. Next one is suit for injunction. Suit for injunction literally means your court stay order. ஓகே, சம்திங் இஸ் கோயிங் டு ஹேப்பன், அதுக்கு ஸ்டே ஆர்டர் வாங்குறது. ரொம்ப இப்போ ரீசெண்ட் டைம்ல ரொம்ப பாப்புலரா போன ஸ்டே ஆர்டர் எனக்கு ஞாபகம் இருந்து, ரொம்ப சில்லியா போன ஸ்டே ஆர்டர் வந்து these guys, what's his name, Naam Tamizhar guys, Naam Tamizhar political party, they try to get injunction on IPL. Remember, not this year's IPL. I mean, this is IPL was even before I think Corona, but still I found it very funny because yeah, I know that they had good reasons. I'm not questioning their reasons, but it's not easy to stay IPL, and that's really not possible, right? So stayன்றது என்னன்னா, you ask the court to stop the entire process. Okay, you seek the court's order to stop the entire process. இது நடக்கவே கூடாது, and you close this. Okay, so this happens. இது பாப்புலரா ரொம்ப இந்த ஸ்டே ஆர்டர் இப்பெல்லாம் நம்ம கேள்விப்படுறது வந்து என்னன்னா, மூவிஸ்ல நிறைய கேள்விப்படுறோம். someone directs a movie and finally at the time of release someone else will come. நான் ஒரு ஸ்கிரிப்ட் ரைட்டர் அப்படின்ட்டு வந்துட்டு, see he has stolen my story, so you better stay that movie, you better not release that movie அப்படின்ற மாதிரி they'll get a stay order, right? So that is usually done for your publicity purposes, right? இவங்க வந்து publicity வாங்குறதுக்காக they'll do those kind of stuff. Anyway, so stay order is asking them, injunction is asking a stay order, to asking the court to direct a process to be stopped, completely stopped. Okay, and finally sued for quantum merit. Quantum merit means as much as is earned. Okay, quantum merit translates to as much as it's earned. So now right to quantum merit na enna appadina, right to claim compensation for the work that has been already done. Okay, so you have the right to claim compensation for something that has been already done. So let's take for example that a person, let's say X, is writing a column for a newspaper. Okay, and Y is paying this X for writing these columns in the newspaper. Okay, newspaper column எழுதுவாங்க இல்லையா, or let's take even the cartoon stories வரும்ல, which you'll have just 3 cartoons in every publication and then the story goes on and on, அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் இருக்கு இல்லையா. So let's say that a person is writing a column for a particular newspaper and the column has a theme and so on, and they've already signed an agreement that the story will go on, or this column will go on for a certain period of time, and for each column that this person X is writing, Y will pay X this much amount of money அப்படின்ற மாதிரி they've already signed the contract. And X has already started writing, and Y has started publishing the columns as well. So a few weeks pass by, let's say 10 weeks pass by, and from the 10th week Y chooses to discontinue the column itself. So he feels that the column is not getting the proper response, so he chooses to discontinue the column with no official confirmation or without X acknowledging it completely. Okay, X is aware about this, but he has not acknowledged this completely because they have already signed the contract that this will go on for a longer period of time. This column writing will go on for a longer period of time. Now Y is committing a breach of contract and he is not willing to pay. See, ஒரு காலம் எழுதுறீங்க அப்படின்னா உடனே உங்களுக்கு பேமெண்ட்லாம் வராது, டக்கு டக்குன்னுலாம் பேமெண்ட் வராது. 2-3 columns together they'll pay it up, right? So Y is choosing not to pay for all the columns that has been written beforehand, for some of the columns that has been written beforehand, and he says that, see, this is going to be this series is scrapped away, I'm discontinuing the series altogether, so why should I pay you அப்படின்றப்ப X can go to court and ask for remedies. Okay, X can go to court and make court pay Y all the money that he owes him. Okay, because he has already done the job, and for whatever job that has been done, work that has been done.
Ma'am, நடுவுல நீங்க சொன்னது நிறைய கேட்கல மேம்.
நடுவுல நீங்க சொன்னது எதுவுமே கேட்கல மேம். You can repeat மேம். மேம் மேம் ஒரே ஸ்டைல்ல நிக்குது மேம் ஸ்கிரீன். ஓகே மேம், நோ ப்ராப்ளம் மேம்.
கண்ணா பின்னான்னு மெசேஜ் கால் ஆன் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கானுங்க.
யாரு மேம்?
Okay, fine. So yeah, so suit for that's எல்லாருமே தான்டா, யாரு பண்ணல. Suit for quantum merit, so demand as is. Okay, so that's So that's your breach of contract, and this brings me to the completion of your second unit. Okay, with this, your second unit is over, and I'll post the note shortly. Okay, but before moving on to third unit, I want to discuss some contract cases with you. இது வந்து செக்ஷன்ஸ்ல கொடுத்துட்டாங்க, அதனால we know that these are the laws and these are the sections that are available, and ஒரு breach of contractனா இதை பண்ணலாம், so these damages can be claimed அப்படின்ற மாதிரி தெரியும். But there are some unusual circumstances where they had to make rulings based on contract law. Okay, so we'll go through those cases one by one because all of them are relevant and these can be used as your இதுதானே இந்த இதுதானே எடுத்தேன், இல்ல இது கிடையாது. Okay, all of these can be used as examples also. All right, so let's start with a case that has been discussed already before. I've discussed this case before, so let's start with that particular case, right? So I remember during the introduction of contract law, I was talking about one case which is called as Balfour versus Balfour case, right? So this Balfour versus Balfour case, for people who don't know or people who have forgotten, so husband and wife, right? Both of them. That's why Balfour versus Balfour. The wife sues the husband. All right. Wife has lodged a case against the husband. Right. So what happened was, this husband is based out of Ceylon in Sri Lanka. Right, Ceylon, which is Sri Lanka now. So this case happened long back. It was around 1920s or something like that, right? So the husband works in Ceylon, and both of them, the husband and wife, decide to go to England for a holiday, to London for a holiday, right? For vacation, they decide to go to London, and while in London, the wife falls sick. Okay, she's very sick, and when it is time for the guy to return to Ceylon to continue his work, because he's a working fellow, and when it's time for him to continue the work, he says to his wife that this is just a verbal agreement, that he says to his wife that, see, I'll pay 300 rupees for you, since you can't travel, since doctor has not allowed you to travel to Ceylon yet, you stay here, take care of your health, I'll pay you 300 pounds, I mean, I'll send you 300 pounds every month for your medical expenses as well for your general day-to-day expenses. All right, and then he leaves to Ceylon, stops sending money, and then what this wife does is she lodges a case against the husband, saying that, see, he told me that he's married to me, we are in a contract and we are in a legal contract, and he told me that he'd be paying me 300 pounds every month, and he hasn't paid me that money at all. And they go to the court, and the court says that, see, this is just an agreement. Now, agreement, what is the difference between agreement and a contract? What is the difference? What is the main difference between an agreement and a contract? Agreement is
just a verbal communication, or agreement is between only two people, ma'am, wherein contract is where it is legally empowered.
Yeah, right. Okay, so legally empowered, legally enforceable. All right, so contract is while contract is legally enforceable, agreement is just a vocal thing. Okay, they have not legally signed upon anything. So these people, although they are married to each other legally, nowhere in the contract, the marriage contract, it is specified that the husband is supposed to pay this much amount of money to his wife on a regular basis. Okay, and when they spoke to each other about her illness and him going back to Ceylon, it was just a verbal agreement, and there was no contract made, and they did not sign the contract at all. So the court ruled in the favor of husband, saying that, see, this was just an agreement, and he may choose not to honor the agreement as well. Okay, well, this is morally and ethically wrong, and we don't know the circumstances both of them were under, so it's not easy to judge the case. But morally, this sounds very wrong, but legally, whatever the husband did is right. Okay, he can always choose to forgo his agreement, but once, if it had been a contract, he should always honor the contract. Okay, fine. So this is one case. Now, next case is, I'm going to tell you about a series of cases. இதெல்லாம் நான் ஆல்ரெடி சொல்லிட்டேன்றதுனால நான் இது பண்ணல, but I'm going to tell you about series of cases, and you tell me what would have been the ruling for these cases. Okay, so there is this guy called as Paul. There was this guy called as Paul, and he wanted to buy a horse from his nephew. Okay, so his nephew had a horse and he wanted to buy a horse from his nephew, and they were discussing about the prices back and forth, but the nephew wasn't happy with the amount of money his uncle was willing to pay him for the horse. All right, so the nephew wasn't really happy, and they were communicating. After communicating directly, they chose to communicate over letters. After a point of time, they chose to communicate over letters. Okay, and this guy, this nephew says that, see, I cannot accept this amount, I need a particular amount. Okay, let's say that for conversation's sake, let's say that he wanted 3,000 rupees, and this guy, his uncle, was only willing to pay 2,000 rupees, and this nephew wasn't happy with the amount that was he was willing to pay for the horse, and this was going on, this back and forth discussion was going on, right? And one fine day, the uncle keeps writing a letter, and he says that, see, I can only pay 2,000 rupees, and since you're not responding to me, so this nephew, this guy is caught up in some work, and he wasn't able to respond to all the messages that his uncle was sending. So since you're not responding, I'll just take that as your acceptance, and I'll send you 2,000 rupees, and you better send me the horse. This was a letter that he sent to the nephew. Now he sent the money as well, and he was demanding the horse. See, I've sent you 2,000 rupees, and the nephew was willing to pay back the 2,000 rupees. See, I don't want your 2,000 rupees, I need the 3,000 rupees. If you're willing to pay me extra 1,000 rupees, I'll give you the horse. But this uncle, he was adamant. I paid. I mean, I sent you a letter telling you that if you're not going to respond, then I'll take that as your acceptance. Yeah, I'll take your silence as an acceptance, and I'm going to send you the amount, and you are supposed to pay me the horse. நான் வந்து உனக்கு லெட்டர் அனுப்பிச்சிட்டேன், so you're supposed to honor the letter அப்படின்ற மாதிரி சண்டை போகுது. So this guy, this nephew, he goes to the court. ஓகே, ஸோ கோர்ட்டுக்கு போய் கேஸ் லான்ச் பண்றான். இவன் வந்து காசு கொடுத்துட்டு வந்து மௌனம் சம்மதம்னு எடுத்துக்கிட்டு இப்ப என்றது குதிரை வேற கேட்கறான் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி. Who do you think the court favored?
Nephew, ma'am.
Nephew, obviously. Now this is a straightforward case. Nephew தான் இது பண்ணிருப்பாங்க, because that was, they were just talking, it was just in the agreement stage, there was no contract again. Okay, they did not sign any papers at all, they were just talking about it. An offer was made and nothing was accepted. Okay, so there must be an offer. If there is an offer, there must also be an acceptance, then only it becomes an agreement. Okay, and if the agreement is signed upon, then it becomes a legal contract. ஓகேவா, சைன். ஸோ இது ஒரு கேஸ். இன்னொரு கேஸ் என்னன்னா வாட் ஆர் தோஸ் ஸ்மோக் பால்ஸ் கால், ஒரே நிமிஷம் இருங்க, அது பேரை மட்டும் பார்த்துட்றேன். Now there is something called as carbolic smoke balls. Okay, இன்னைக்கு நம்ம கொரோனால எவ்வளவு கஷ்டப்பட்டு இருக்கோமோ அதே மாதிரி there was a time when influenza virus was destroying European continent, whole world day, but Europeans they faced the blunt of it, they first faced the worst of it. Okay, and Europe was devastated because of this influenza, right? And this company called as Carbolic Smoke Balls Company, they come up with a smoke ball. Okay, and they say that if you inhale this smoke ball, you will not contract influenza virus or even cold. You will not contract cold, normal flu cold, normal flu, you will not get normal flu, neither will you get influenza. Okay, so they are promising this, they are marketing the smoke balls, saying that you will not get influenza, you will not even contract common cold. Okay, they go one step further and they say that, see, in case if you get influenza after using these smoke balls, in case you get influenza, we'll pay you 1,000 pounds. Okay, in case you contract influenza after using these smoke balls, we'll pay you 1,000 pounds. And to prove that we'll actually pay you 1,000 pounds, I'm going to deposit 1,000 pounds in a particular bank. Okay, 1,000 pounds in a particular bank, I'm going to deposit that, and if someone is contracting influenza after using a smoke balls, you can go and claim that money. ஓகே, இப்படி வந்து அவங்க சொல்றாங்க. வி see this often இல்லையா? இந்த அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட்டை நம்ம நிறைய தடவை பார்க்குறோம். இதை யூஸ் பண்ணுங்க, யூஸ் பண்ணலன்னா மணி பேக் பாலிசி, உங்க கம்பெனி உங்க மணி வாபஸ் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி ஏதாவது ஒரு பொம்பளை வந்து நின்றுட்டு சொல்லும் இல்லையா? இதை கிளீன் பண்ணுங்க, கிளீன் பண்ணி போகலன்னா உங்க மணி வாபஸ் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி வந்து ஸ்டூபிட் அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட்ஸ் வரும். ஆனா எத்தனை பேர் நம்ம வந்து இது வாபஸ் போய் வாங்குறோம், இந்த காசு திருப்பி வாங்குறோன்றது we don't care about this because usually these claims are usually made for soaps அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் பண்ணுவாங்க. and we just don't bother. சோப்பு தானே 20 ரூபாய், இந்த 20 ரூபாய்க்கு நான் போய் கேட்டு அவன்கிட்ட வாங்குறதுக்கு நான் 20 ரூபாய்க்கு மேல செலவு பண்ணணும்ட்டு we just don't bother. But this lady actually went so one lady called us in the smoke balls caseல வந்து one lady called us Carlil. Okay, the lady's name is Carlil. She uses the smoke balls and after using the smoke ball she contracts influenza. Okay, அதை யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டதுக்கு அப்புறம் கூட she contracts influenza. She goes to the company people and tells them, see, நான் அதை யூஸ் பண்ணி எனக்கு இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸா வந்துருச்சு, நீ மார்க்கெட் பண்ணப்ப 1000 rupees கொடுக்குறேன்னா 1000 pounds கொடுக்குறேன்னா எனக்கு 1000 pounds கொடு அப்படின்றப்போ அந்த கம்பெனி என்ன சொல்றாங்கன்னா, see, we only announced, there was no contract between you and me. Okay, we did not enter into a formal contract. There was no formal contract between you and me. There was no legal contract between you and me. அதனால பே பண்ண முடியாது போ அப்படின்னுன்றாங்க. Okay, so this lady goes to the court. இப்போ என்ன ரூலிங் வந்திருக்கும்?
Ma'am, Carlil would have won this, ma'am, because it
Why?
was general offer, ma'am.
Very good. Okay,
Public offer.
Okay, very good. So this was a general public offer, and offers made to the public must also be honored. Okay, even though the law states that only after signing it becomes an agreement becomes a contract, if it's made to a general public, and this is a pretty serious offer, right? And if it's made to a general public, you are always supposed to honor the particular agreement. Okay, and if you're not agreeing to that, you are supposed to pay punitive damages. Okay. Fine, next வேற என்ன போலாம்? This one, இது இன்னும் interesting. What's the name? Okay, fine. So the plaintiff here is Mr. Krell. Okay, and defendant is Mr. Henry. Okay, so this Krell என்ன பண்றாங்கன்னா, this was again in Europe. King George's coronation, King George, King George தானே, King Edward the seven ஓட coronation நடக்க போகுது. ஓகே, coronationna அந்த இதெல்லாம் இப்ப பாத்தீங்கல்ல, நம்ம வில்லியம்க்கு ஹாரிக்கு கல்யாணம் நடந்தது இல்லையா? So I mean in the near future முடி சுட்டுறதுதான். இந்த நியர் ஃபியூச்சர் வந்து our Queen Elizabeth, our Queen இல்ல, their Queen Elizabeth is going to pass away. Okay, that's inevitable. And next வந்து this guy, what's William's father's name? டயனாவோட புருஷன் பேர் என்ன? What's that guy's name? ஒருத்தனுக்கும் ஜியோகிராஃபி ஹிஸ்டரியே தெரியாதா? Charles. Okay. Charles. This guy Charles will become the next king, and that will be a big extravaganza. பயங்கரமான ஒரு எக்ஸ்ட்ராவகன்ஸாவா ஆக்கி நேஷனல் ஹாலிடே கொடுத்து ஃபுல் யூரோப் இது பிரிட்டனுக்கே ஹாலிடே கொடுத்து இட் வில் பி a பயங்கர மார்வலஸ் அஃபேர். ஓகேவா? ஸோ இன்னைக்கே இது இப்படி இருக்கு அப்படின்னா, see, people don't care about the royal family anymore. They just make fun of the royal family because they are actually squandering away public's money. Right? They don't do anything, but they are squandering away public's money. But back in those days, these kings and queens, they were actually doing something for the people, and they were contributing a lot to people's success, right? People's growth, right? So coronation was a big thing, and everyone were excited about the coronation, right? So King Edward VII oda coronation nadakudhu, and this guy Henry has a house from where on the house oda balcony la irundhu, if you can see the coronation arena very well, you can see the coronation stage very well. Okay, it seems that you can see the coronation stage very well. Anga crowd nariya irukundradanaala this guy actually rents out the space. He rents out his balcony. Okay, he rents out his balcony for a couple of days for the duration of which the coronation is going to take place. And in the offer accept பண்ணது யாருன்னு பாத்தீங்க அப்படின்னா வந்து ஹென்றி accept பண்றாரு. Okay, so okay, நான் உனக்கு பே பண்றேன். They have a series of letters going on. Okay, they write letters back and forth, and this guy says that, see, I'm willing to rent my balcony, just my balcony. I'm willing to rent my balcony for 2 days, and you can come and use that balcony. Okay, but when they correspond using letters, nowhere is the coronation mentioned. ஓகே, இந்த டேட்ல எனக்கு இது வேணும்னு சொல்றாங்களே தவிர, 2 பேரும் பேசிக்கிறாங்களே தவிர, இந்த டேட்ல இந்த 2 டேஸ்க்கு நான் உனக்கு ரெண்ட் பண்றேன், பால்கனியை ரெண்ட் பண்றேன்னு பேசிக்கிறாங்களே தவிர, nowhere is the coronation of King Edward is mentioned. Okay, and as so it happens, before the day of coronation, this guy falls sick, this king falls sick, and coronation is postponed. Okay, and the 2 days வந்து postpone பண்ணிடுறாங்க. Now this guy Krell, who is a homeowner, he says that, see, நான் வந்து காரனேஷன்லாம் மென்ஷன் பண்ணவே கிடையாது. You wanted to rent that space for 2 days and you owe me some money, you better pay me அப்படின்ற மாதிரி சொல்றான். ஆனா ஹென்றி என்ன சொல்றான்னா, see, நான் இது கேட்டதே எதுக்காக அப்படின்னா, சொல்லுங்க மேம். Day, I'll continue with the cases tomorrow. Okay, எனக்கு நாளை கிளாஸ் இருக்குல்ல, I'll continue with the cases tomorrow. Can you switch on your cameras? I'll just take the photo and leave. கொஞ்சம் வேலை வந்துருச்சு. Everyone switch on the camera, please.